How's it going, Snap fans? We're going for round 2 of a little bit of Marvel Snap action, climbing through the ladder here in the January 2023 season. Got the Zabu meta going on, and we're trying to hit, I would say, at least rank 90, potentially up to rank 100. I don't really care for the title necessarily, but it's always nice to be able to say hit infinite in each season. So we're going to try it out. We're going to see how it goes. We're going to be actually rocking a different deck than we ran last time. Have been trying to make this, continue to make this 30 damage deck work, and it's been pretty effective. I ended up making a few swaps, like taking out Lizard and putting in Cosmo, and that was nice in of its own right. But the issue is that I feel like I'm having to play into my enemies too much and like worry about what they're doing constantly instead of just kind of focusing on my own game. It's greatly good for counterplay, and I think I can still potentially grind my way through Infinite, but it seems like it's just taking a long time. A biggest issue I've run into is that Wave doesn't counteract the 4 cost cards nearly as much because they're still benefiting from the new card, Zabu, either way. So that's one trick that I've used against the Silver Surfer decks that I'm not able to really put in practice here. So we're going to be actually trying out a variation of this deck that still has a few of the core pieces, but is going to be emphasizing discard and resurrection of the discards. So we've got a card Hela here. It plays all cards you've discarded from your hand to random locations. You've got a few activators like Blade, Moon Knight, Lady Sif that will be able to make that happen. And then you've got something like Ghost Rider as in your back pocket. This one isn't as strong as Hela because it only summons back one of the cards, but you get to choose the location it goes into, and it can combo well with Odin and stuff like that pretty nicely. It's also kind of a backup plan if we end up discarding Hela. We've got to watch out for that since that can definitely slow down or at least limit our ceiling of what this deck can do. Now, still, like I said, the core of what I was doing before has remained a bit similar, where we're still going to be emphasizing getting Sunspout out early, protecting with armor, maybe playing Infinaut, but much more likely you're going to be seeing me play on turn 5 and go into Magneto or even potentially Hulk as a turn 6 play. If I have to. Obviously, my ideal turn 6 play is going to be Hela, but that doesn't always work out that way, so we'll just kind of see what happens, what Jubilee is able to throw at us. We are able to kind of chew through most of our deck and reliably get Hela in almost every game, but there's going to be games that she's discarded, there's going to be games that she doesn't come out, and we're still going to play those out. That being said, I'm getting, from what I've played of this deck so far, what I will say is that this deck isn't necessarily going to be all about just getting constant wins. Like, this deck is not ever going to hit like a 90% win rate, and that's okay, because I think that the little bit of randomness to it increases the ceiling much more, where you can get some very dramatic swing turns, and that works really well in this game in particular because of the snap mechanic. If you know you're going to get a swing turn, you know you're going to be showing something big the turn following, you can snap early and you can walk away with 2, 4, maybe even 8 cubes. Whereas if you are seeing the opposite, you kind of have more intel on your own game state with the discards and everything going on there, and you can very cleanly retreat on 1 cube, no problem at all. So I'm perfectly fine with maybe even a 50% win rate with this deck, as long as I'm trying to emphasize snapping my ceiling and retreating on my floor, and trying not to lose too much in those situations. So, yeah, we'll try it out. I love this Moon Knight card. Discarding an enemy's card is one of the few ways to really directly hinder a few of the decks that are reliant on their combo pieces, so it's great. If I do end up feeling like it's a little inconsistent in terms of the discard mechanic, I can always take out Sunspot and Armor, put in a few of the other kind of core discard cards, namely the Swordmaster. I took him out recently in favor of Blade. Seems like the mana curve's a bit better. I'm not sitting around doing nothing for most of the game, but I do also feel like there's some value in just being able to reliably put in like 5 heavy hitters and all of your discards, and then kind of go from there. So we'll see what happens, but overall, I'm liking the flow of this. I've already kind of climbed back up. I was, I think, rank 69, 70, somewhere in there yesterday, and already seen some pretty good success with it. So yeah, we'll just try to keep that train rolling. Bit tired tonight, but I think that we can still get a few good games in. Let's see. Off the bat, not too much info on what's going on in the game. Grand Central will pull something, which is pretty good because I want to basically make what's in my hand as appealing as possible. I'll play the armor, I'll play the lower end cards, so that whatever Grand Central sends that way will be, top end. And we'll go ahead and protect whatever we get out there with armor. Yeah, we can even throw Sunspot that way as well. I don't see it getting too many cards in here where I don't really have any control over what's going on. There is some variations in discard decks. There's the Apocalypse one with Dracula and Morbius, where you're just trying to get as many discard actions as possible in order to boost up that Apocalypse, in order to boost up that Morbius. But for this one, I think it's more about discarding the right thing. It's more, we like that. I'm comfortable even snapping on that, to be honest, because cloning bats is awesome. And we'll see how that plays out. Again, sometimes you'll snap and lose, but I think when you get a big jump, like another plus 20% chance to win the game, you just want to snap before that comes out, rather than after, when your opponent's going to retreat off of it. And yeah, it can bite you, but it can also pay off. As long as it pays off more times than it fails, then it's totally fine. Overall, though, what I was saying is that there's another form of discard deck where you're just discarding over and over and over. You got the Swarm card, you got Apocalypse, Dracula, and you're just trying to fill out the board and get these smaller pieces, and then have just a giant Apocalypse in your hand. And that usually requires something like Lockjaw. I would say that this deck is much more about precision and about discarding the right thing at the right time, resurrecting in the right place. And you'll see like how many cards I've discarded here, and I'll try to keep a good track of that. He just discarded his Hela, which is another great reason to snap, whereas I'm just chilling here. I discarded Jubilee. I could bring it back with Ghost Rider. That wouldn't be problematic either, but I could also do that next turn with another Sunspot. So let's try that for now. I don't expect there's another 4-cost card that I'm going to be playing, or 5-cost card I'm going to be playing, rather. I could go for like a Sif, but again, that's assuming I draw Sif and Hela the next 2 turns. Let's just roll with what we have. And Ghost Rider could also get pulled in Grand Central, which I wouldn't have a problem with. So he discarded his Infinaut, he discarded his Hela. He needs to get a Ghost Rider pulled those back, or he's going nowhere fast. So we did end up getting Sif. I like that. It's going to discard either Odin or Hulk, and those are great options. So I'm going to go ahead and play Sif. So usually I want to pair them together and put Sif with Ghost Rider, but you need 4 spots for that, and I've already kind of filled up those. So we'll go ahead and just keep this train rolling. Am I going to play Sunspot next turn? Most likely not. I'm going to play like a Hulk or an Odin. So we'll go ahead, play here, and see what happens. And yeah, this is basically, I would say, an example of a bad discard deck. Or at least a discard deck gone wrong. Sometimes RNG just doesn't go on your side. So Ghost Rider gets pulled, Odin gets jumped in, and then we'll get 2 cards out of it. Jubilee's not going to do anything, unfortunately, but we still got a lot of power over here. And then, yeah, we'll just play Hulk where we need and feel good about that. So we'll go ahead and play Hulk here, and yeah, I think that's pretty solid overall. He definitely can win left. He also can win middle. He's got 1 card invisible. But the hope is that he can't win both. While also trying to win cloning bats. We'll see what he does. What's interesting is I actually could have just passed turn, and it would have been the same result as me playing... actually, it would have been better. I should have technically passed turn. It looks like it worked out for me this time, but in hindsight, I actually should not have played a single card. Incredible Hulk is obviously great in terms of his damage output, but he costs 6 mana. So if you get 2 Sunspots eating that mana, they're each going to get +6. This guy's also going to feed off of it, so you've actually got 18 damage swing between 2 lanes instead of a 12 damage swing on 1. And that would have made me win all 3. So I actually literally should not have played anything. Technically, it hedges against something like Killmonger, but you're not going to see that in this deck anyways. Alright, game 1, 4 cubes, ranking up to rank 80. think it jumped us to rank 81 for some reason. I don't know why it does that, but there we are. I guess it's a little, instead of making it impossible to downrank, they just said we'll give you a little extra boost so that you can lose a game if you still feel like you didn't lose all your progress. Something along those lines is all I can really speculate, but yeah. I'm going to try the Sunspot for now, hoping that we get one of those bigger 6 mana drops. The Odin, Magneto, Hulk, Infinaut type stuff. But we get Hela instead. A little risky. It's a 1 in 3 chance to discard Hela in this situation. I still want to try to, you know, make use of my mana, make use of the discard mechanic. So I guess yeah, we'll play into it, but there is obviously some risk involved. So we'll go ahead and run it for here, and if it doesn't work out, it's okay. So Jubilee is a good one because when Hela gets played later on, the situation is that she'll be activating and playing her reveal effect then. Tempting to play Lady Sif, but that would be, I would say, a misplay at this point. It's going to be more likely I torch my entire game plan off of that. This Goblin, you know, it would be great to get Odin over here later on, but I think we'll have limited control over that. Now that we've got 3 cards, I'm going to say that I'm pretty comfortable running the Lady Sif, and we'll see what happens. Could go poorly, could go well. We'll have to see. Yeah, I think for right now, my game plan is... Do I actually want to play here? Do I want to activate Vormir? I feel like I just can't worry about Atlantis too much because I have very limited control over actually what goes to those locations. So we'll go ahead with Sif over here just in case something gets flooded again. This guy... Yep, we discarded Hela, very unfortunate. We can try to get it back with, Okay, nice play from him. Killmonger hits on a lot of guys here. He's going to get a very discounted death. And we end up with a 2 mana loss, or 2 cube loss. We'll still play this out to turn 6, though, since the game state isn't really changing in any significant way. So Hobgoblin's here. He's just playing, he's basically got a Galactus deck that doesn't really matter too much for either side, but yeah, I do not feel too confident in the game state as it is. I mean, you can play Odin and send the Green Goblin back. That's a 10 damage swing. I'd rather just play 12 damage somewhere. I'm curious if this... I almost want to, just for science, know if the Vormir activated for me or for him. Because I would say it activated for me, but I don't know. Is it worth 4 cubes? Damn right it is. We gotta know the answer. Well, alright, so it's activated for me, which means that essentially when Hobgoblin gets revealed, yeah, because reveals happen before the location applies. I literally threw away 4 cubes just to answer a question, because I'm inquisitive, whatever. Sue me. But we'll keep the climb going. I'm confident in that. Even if we get 1 or 2 unnecessary losses. So at that point, I guess I'm the one who played Hobgoblin, is how the game reads that, which is kind of cool. Missed the cloning vats by just a little bit here. I think we'll still go ahead and play armor, and then we can play armor blade next turn. I think I'm confident with that. I'm gonna have a triple armor. I don't know if I really want a triple armor because I think he'd be more likely to be running a destroyer deck, but this is Mojo World, we want to play cards there, and we get a really nice discard. So at this point, I'm feeling pretty good about the game. I almost want to snap, but I'm going to give it 1 more turn. He's not going to retreat on this next turn 4 just because I discarded Infinaut. Jubilee's nice though. Now I'm going to definitely snap on Jubilee. The question is where we're playing her. We could play here, potentially waste Odin, but potentially waste Ghost Rider. So I'm going to go ahead and play here and hope that I don't get screwed at Mojo World. But there's also the option of playing here and just spamming out Jubilee cards. I kind of like that, actually. Let's do that. So Infinaut's our only discard at this moment in time. Hela would be great, but Moon Knight is the result, and that gives me another good discard. And he discards Taskmaster, which I'm sure he's super happy about. He ends up getting Magneto at this point, and plays Typhoid, which he might be able to nullify. There's my Hela. At this point, the concern that I might have is that I might discard her if I play Jubilee, because I could get Sif, which would 50-50 it, or I could get... well, what's that really? So, really, there's only a 1 in 6 chance of that happening. There's more chance I get Odin. 2 discards. Do I want to play Mojo World, or do I want to leave breathing room? I think because Ghost Rider's in here and Odin's in here, I'm going to go to the left. There's 2/3 chance that I waste it if I only play 2 here. So we'll go ahead and play here. See what happens. We get Ghost Rider, which brings back Infinaut. Boom, boom, boom. And we've still got Hulk in the back. So at this point now, I'm playing on the right side, and we'll see if we get Hulk to spawn on left or right. Obviously, we'll win left. We've already won left. I would really like it on the right side, but you know, we can't really. I mean, you can force it by playing here, but then you're most likely losing Mojo World due to numbers, and we don't want that. So we'll go ahead. Just considering real quick if Magneto might make any sense. He can pull 2 cards out. He leaves. We're good. Obviously, getting 2 cards, you know, getting the Hulk and the Hela here is pretty great, but like because it's a 50-50, I'm actually tempted to just play Magneto and make sure that he doesn't have the numbers. It's a little risky because if he plays enough here, then it doesn't work out because, you know, we're pulling these two. I mean, at the worst, yeah, if he plays anything here, then I'm not pulling enough to block Mojo World. But realistically, I don't see him playing anything here. I think he plays middle and right. He didn't seem confident either way. I'm not sure why Zabu's in that deck. I've only saw a few 4-drops, so a lot of times you'll see somebody just throw Zabu in and not really know what they're doing with it, and that might have been the case there. There's a Taskmaster Red Skull deck, which I've definitely seen before, but again, not a lot of 4-drops. Alright, so we get a little boost here. Not really. We can do Sif and discard Infinaut, most likely. Yeah, nice. Very nice. So at this point, we're feeling pretty confident. The question is if we already want to snap off of that. There are ways that this could definitely get turned around and look pretty bad for us. But let's see what he's playing. He's playing Squirrel Girl, so he's going to play a Destroy deck. He's looking to kill off my Sunspot via Killmonger and then play Death at a certain point in time. I'm still feeling okay against that. The only time this is not great is if it's a Galactus Null result, but yeah, Galactus Null Death is not great, but if it's just Killmonger Destroy Death, then we're fine with that. He could Moon Girl it as well. That is also a loss condition for us. So the 2 loss conditions I would say are Galactus and Moon Girl, rather than Death specifically. But yeah, we'll get Infinaut out of here. We've snapped at this point. We're committed. And cards here can't be destroyed. That's already going to help a little bit. One mana away from being able to play what we want. The question is, do we want... Alright, now we have 5 mana. That doesn't really matter too much. It's going to help Sunspot a little bit. And we get armor. I was just about to Jubilee to fish for our middle to fish for armor. Because I know that he's just going to be playing Killmonger here in middle. But I think Jubilee is just better. Sunspot's nice. Keeping him alive is, I feel, like a good game plan, but end of the day, you can get so much better stuff, like Odin, any of the 6 mana cards. So yeah, here we go. So I can't play any more on reveal effects in middle, but that's okay. So I've got Infinaut in my back pocket, which should be the case regardless of what I discard here. Yeah, it definitely is. So I should play the discard for sure. And the question is where? Well, I guess if I've got priority, I might as well protect Sunspot, like I was talking about. And then we'll just play, since he's 1 mana, we'll play him over here. And everything else will spawn in the other areas. I like that. I think there's a lot of potential there. I've already snapped, which is a good thing for me. It doesn't look like he's going to be able to play any kind of Galactus or anything like that. Now, it looks bad that I've just lost Hela, but you have to think about what I can play this turn. I can play Ghost Rider. It's going to give me either Infinaut or Hela, which also gives me Infinaut. So we're pretty happy about that, and we get to control that cards are going here. You know, worst case, Infinaut lands here, but I'm feeling pretty good. I'm feeling really good, actually. I'm hoping he snapped because he saw Hela get discarded, and he feels clever about that, but realistically, we are in a good spot. His last card was 0 on the Lizard. That doesn't really matter too much. I'm curious what he might be zeroing out otherwise, though. Like we saw Red Skull in the last one. Alright, I'm going to wait till the middle of the T. I like kind of time it out. I'm like, give him a little bit of time to process it and think, ooh, maybe I should snap. But realistically, most of your opponents won't snap, and that's okay. Alright, we get Hela, we get Infinaut. He's going to bounce around to the right, and Destroyer is not going to win because of the mana intake from Sunspot. GG. So it was a Destroyer deck, which, you know, we saw that they were playing armor, we were playing armor. He ends up preventing the damage from it. And I guess that's what 0's for, is more so being another activator for 0. So for Destroyer decks, they have most likely Professor X, Armor, Cosmo, and 0, which all endeavor to try to prevent him from killing his own stuff. That way they can play him at the right time, instead of, you know, annihilating your own board. But didn't work out for him there. Sunspot a little too strong, which is cool. Yeah, Negative Zone doesn't really have too much of an impact. I'm going to play all my smaller stuff in middle and right, but outside of that, you know, if something spawns there randomly from Hela, it's going to be reduced as much as their stuff is, or maybe even less so, because mine stuff is very card dense. Like, if Magneto or Hulk ends up there, it's going to be a lot better than him playing 3 cards in that area. Which might be common sense, but it's good to like contemplate the impact, because like if Magneto pulls a 3 and 4 cost card over here, he's getting value out of that. We definitely want to be playing in Muir as soon as possible. Yeah, I'm going to play Moon Knight next turn. It's probably going to discard Hela, you know, just RNG wise, but realistically it's like should be a 1 and 3. If I get Sif, I don't think I play Sif. I think I play Moon Knight. It accomplishes 2 things. It discards one of his cards, which he might be wanting. As well, it's a better odds. It's 1 in 4 chance of losing Hela right now. Which you saw last game is not the end of the world, but it does feel like it sometimes, and it's okay to understand that, especially if Ghost Rider's at the bottom of your deck, that it's just easy enough to cut your losses and move on. It's okay to lose some games. The goal is the cubes. Kazar and Jubilee are gone. I'm going to try to make mental notes of that because it's super easy for me to forget. The games kind of bleed together after a little bit. Tough odds here. Jubilee's gone. Blade's here. I want to play him from Weir and also to keep my discard ramp, but I think this is much more likely to screw me over. Like, you're playing a 1 in 4 chance of discarding. Not that bad odds. But now we're playing a 1 in 3. And you know, the Cosmo blocks it. I don't even mind that, honestly. I'd rather just have the card in play and chill. And we get a Sunspot over here. I could try and not do that and then go for Infinaut. So I have a Jubilee in my discard. I have an Infinaut in my deck. If I draw Infinaut as 1 in 4 chance, then I'd rather probably not play the Sunspot, because Jubilee is not going to get as much value as that. But we're here. It's only 1 in 4 chance to draw him through that, and then this guy's going to end up doing maybe 5 free damage, which we like. He's full on Weir Island, which is kind of good because for him, because he is able to get the +1 on both these turns. The other aspect to it is that... Okay, so we just have Jubilee coming back. And we can't play middle because Cosmo is blocking. We could make sure that Jubilee lands here, if we really wanted to. We have to think of what Jubilee will pull after that. It's going to be pulling Hulk, Infinaut, or Sif, which is not great. Yeah, Hulk and Infinaut feel real good, but realistically, I'm in a kind of awkward spot where he can just play right, and there's no reason to play Hela, right? You can just play a Ghost Rider and feel okay about it. It's more of a question of where to play Ghost Rider. Unless we want her power here. The reason I don't want to play her is because of the mana cost, because I want to give Sunspot +2. But he's most likely going to play 2 cards here and be putting himself in a good spot anyways. Do I just want to pull? Do I just want to Magneto pull? I talked about this earlier. It works on Cosmo, but that's 5 damage out of middle. It's not going to be a game changer. I have to make a call. I'm going to go with Ghost Rider here. Not feeling great about it. The Hulk will help, but I still realistically see myself losing the right lane. I think it's actually better to retreat here. And that's a tough call. I definitely could see myself winning this game, but when I'm looking at this situation, I'm seeing Ant-Man with +3 power once he fills the board. He's going to fill the board here, and that board is going to be stronger than whatever Sunspot offers. I could, theoretically, Hela and Jubilee could jump over there, and then I'm winning here, but that's kind of like a 50-50, right? So Hela here, it's not even a 50-50, it's a 1 in 3 chance. Because she lands, Jubilee could land here and do nothing, land here, and then we win left. But what I'm really worried about is the right lane. I already kind of feel like middle's gone. Because there's no way, without it being a discard, there's no way that like a Hulk shows up here. So we kind of say, this one's already gone in middle. We're not feeling great about that. So instead, yeah, we're just going to call it. Since we lose to the board on the right. And middle's gone. I mean, if he plays absolutely nothing on left and I win to a negative squirrel, then cool, but realistically, if I probably should have checked his hand, I probably could have seen that he had enough cards to round that out. Squirrel for squirrel trade. Pretty cool. So, a little quiet on the first few turns, no armor, no Sunspot, but we can still kind of get things going. That just gives us higher odds for the cards that we want. We don't want to discard Lady Sif here, so even though it's a tiny % chance higher to discard Infinaut, we're going to go ahead and discard Sif. Yeah, we'll see what happens. Here's what he has in his hand that he's feeling so good about. At this point, I'm usually playing like a okay, Electro. So he's giving me the Electro, so I can only play 1 card per turn. But honestly, that's what I do anyway, so I don't really care. As long as I'm filling up Mojo World properly, so that I'm forcing him to play. I don't actually expect to win Mojo World because I'm going to be feeding it a lot of small stuff, unless I Jubilee it right now, which I probably will. Because at least that gives me the chance of sending something big that way. Moon Knight's fun, but we can always save it for next turn as well. So this could pull, what, Blade, Hulk, Magneto. Armor, Blade, Hulk, Magneto, Armor, or... Trying to remember the whole deck. It's a little bit late for me. A little tired. We just basically want to try to put this over like plus 15 power, and the only way to do that is no, Odin's in my hand. I think we're still gonna be fine either way. We'll go ahead and drop this. Ghost Rider is the last one, and that's the one I really wouldn't want. Okay, so he lost a squirrel, and it spawned squirrels both ways there, which I feel great about. I know that I've got some really good discards in my hand. I know that I'm going to probably be taking the card that he wants out of his hand. So we're feeling good about that. Sunspot is going to be pushing this to at least +9. Not a great damage threshold, but he still has to play 2 cards here to actually make that work. He probably just could Odin it? That's weird. If he Odins... Nah, I don't know. We'll have to see what he ends up doing for Mojo World, but my focus at this point is just doing as much damage as we can to these 2 lanes. And that's going to be Moon Knight into Hela, assuming we don't discard her, which is good odds. 25% chance, 1 of 4. Unlikely, I would say, to discard Hela, and that means that I would say we are likely to win the game. But you never know. I think I said Hulk or Magneto, but I think I actually already discarded one of those 2. I forget. Dr. Doom. Still not putting a lot of direct damage onto this lane, which I'm very happy about. Really, the only question is, if I have Infinaut, and let's say it was Hulk, I'm not actually sure what I discarded earlier, but it says I have 2 discards, so I'm assuming it's something along those lines. Unless it's Ghost Rider, which I don't believe is the case. I would have noted that. So yeah, the real question is, where do we want the 6 damage? And I would say here, because while it does slightly decrease the chance of double spawning the 12s, the big drops over here, it is the only lane that he can play in, and I'm comfortable with either of the 12s landing over there. So we'll see what happens. He uses all of his mana to get Black Panther. He's going to win right, and with Hela here, we had both of ours on the other 2 lanes and win the game. 8 cubes. Beautiful. This guy snapped pretty early, all things considered. He snapped when Mojo World showed up. And I'm trying to think of what he felt really good about, other than he kind of zoos it up with the Jubilee Dr. Doom stuff. I think actually what he liked the most was the Electro, because most decks get screwed over by being only able to play 1 card per game, or per turn, and I do not get the benefit. Electro's weird in that his benefit comes from the reveal effect, +1 max energy, but the ongoing effect is the downside. So if he gets destroyed, if he gets silenced by Enchantress, or if he gets flipped over by Oscorp, he no longer has that limit, and I do. He still literally played 1 card per turn anyways, and as did I, and it had no impact, but I understand why he felt good about the Oscorp swap. Because he gets to play 2 6-mana cards, basically. I've always felt Electro was kind of like a dumb person's Psylocke, but I'm sure there's like going to be some top-end Electro deck that actually kicks ass, and it requires a bit of skill to pilot, eventually. Sanctum's interesting because we do actually have access to it with Hela. It's kind of random though, not a lot of control. If there was 1 card I would be adding to this deck, it actually wouldn't be... There's a few that I would like to add, but the main one I actually would prefer the most. Almost played the wrong card. Moon Knight's going to go down. We're happy with that. This is a good spot. Go. The thing that I think about the most in terms of potential additions would be Captain Marvel, because she reduces that randomness, and I think there's a lot of value in that. Tempted to just Ghost Rider Jubilee right now. I'm tempted to just Ghost Rider Jubilee right now. I don't have too much else going on. I do have the Sunspot armor I could play, which increases the value of my discards. I do think leaving her for potentially Sanctum is pretty good, and there's a lot of value in just filling this board out so I know where cards are going to be going. Maybe it means I lose middle, but if there's any potential for me to fill out the rest, I'm pretty happy with that. If he gets Hela, it's interesting because he has discarded a card. I didn't keep track of what he discarded. I think it was like a lizard or something like that. But we're gonna go ahead. Do we just playing cards for playing cards' sake? I feel like if I'm doing that, we can just go ahead and look at the board. We can just pass turn here, and then we have the options of Infinaut or Hela with Jubilee, which could go 50-50. Trying to think if I want to snap, and I feel like Thor is a little too scary for that. He's also gotten... Yeah, I have to see if he played anything this turn. He did play something this turn, so Infinaut is not on the table. And now I'm looking at this whole mana thing. Okay. Interesting spot for us to be in. Because even if we play Hela, we're not necessarily winning either of these two lanes. We're tying here at best. Obviously, we're not going to. They're gonna. So we're losing right, we're losing middle, and we get something in the left. Yeah, Jubilee's cool, but she's not winning us a lane. Infinaut is. I don't feel great about this. I'm not gonna snap it, but I know that he's not playing Infinaut. He might be able to resurrect his lizard into the right side. If I were him, I would play like Mjolnir, Hela, which brings what's his face, lizard over there. It's rough to play into the snap. The real question is what card he got from me. I think he just plays his Odin Mjolnir, but you never really know. Yeah, on the hope that he plays Odin Mjolnir and we just fight for 2 lanes, I'm going to go for Infinaut here. It's 1 card, it's leader, he copies my Infinaut, he wins. Alright. That's the one thing I've seen is if you see White Queen, it's much more likely they're running leader. Because they want to know what's up your sleeve, they want to know what you're going for in terms of like if leader's a good play and where it should be played. It basically just gives them good information for a card they're never going to play anyways, but that they're going to copy with leader. And it's hard to predict. Outside that White Queen tell that I've kind of seen over time, it's really literally any deck could have leader in it. I've seen a Zabu Swarm deck run leader, so it can kind of come from any direction. I don't think I have any ongoing abilities. Well, armor is the only thing. I can copy armor, which is a waste of mana, I would say. Strange Academy, you usually don't want cards here because they're just going to go to a random place anyways. I'd rather choose where they go. There's places like Sanctum Sanctorum where it's great to just spam Strange Academy because you have a 50-50 shot of going where you want them to, but this is kind of cool. I might play that next turn. We're going to go ahead and start with this. The only thing is, my hand is so diluted right now. If I could play 2 cards, it would be better to do so. Yeah, I just want to clear out my hand a bit first. I'm not sure. I'm just going to be drawing 6 drops. Like right now, the chance of discarding anything that I care about at all is very low. It's kind of awkward. So we'll just play this for right now and kind of go from there. I think we'll run the odds eventually, but at least for right now we'll just... Yeah. Okay, we got Magneto at least. That's like plus, -1 bad card, +1 good card. It's a 50-50 of getting really a really practical discard, but because he's playing Psylocke, he very well might be fishing for something big himself, so... Well, I guess he's playing it this turn, so I'm going to assume that he Psylocked out Sarah, because he's got 5 mana this turn. We'll see what happens. Yeah, armor is not a great discard. And he lost Mystique, which I got from Bugle. So yeah, he's got Sarah, Mystique, turn 5. The second he snaps, I'm out of here. I don't care about the armor I discarded, really, but there's also no good plays. So this is a retreat. I'm kind of just going through the motions at this point. There's almost no chance I play out past to turn 6 or past the snap, but if he hasn't snapped yet, the only thing retreating does is avoid the chance of getting the information. So all these cards go here. Dagger's going to get a nice little buff, so I'm going to be slightly past him on this lane. The problem is, where does that leave me? It just leaves me with him having... I guess Mystique got discarded, but he still has 6 cards in hand, all of them at a reduced cost, a deck built around this mechanic to just swarm the board with most likely like Silver Surfer crap, and I've got... my best drop is like a Hulk or a Magneto. Not really into it. If there was some magical way I could Blade Hela, I'd do that. But as it stands... I think the Swarm is just going to be too much. I'm surprised he hasn't snapped. I think people just hold off on that. Too much. It's tempting to just try to play it out. I always kind of want to see, especially for like the video recording, like just to see what happens. It's kind of probably half why I did the Magneto thing on Vormir, but I'm going to just trust my gut on this. He's got exactly what he wanted in Psylocke into Sarah, and we don't want to screw around with that. Yeah, and my discards were poor. Like, he got his action plan, I didn't get my action plan, so I just know the game's not panning out the way I wanted to. And I think the biggest thing... I don't play poker, but the biggest thing I'm feeling is that knowing when to fold is probably the most important. Like, when to raise, when to call, that's definitely relevant, but when to fold is like life or death in that game. What the heck is this? So, for example, if he snaps here, I leave. Bar with no name is not going to work out for me. This is one of the locations that playing into the fog punishes you on. And that's okay. He's just going to play left, left. And, you know, we'll try to see what we can do in terms of just flooding the board in a way that... like, you can look on the bright side and say, well, actually, I can play Hella now. Because I'm not worried about the discards going away. Speaking of discards, Ghost Rider's going to pull in Moon Knight, which will discard a card from his hand. And my own. That's kind of nice, but we end up just losing Sunspots, which is one of the least relevant cards. And now all these cards go to a lane that I don't want them to be. So it's not just that I'm auto-losing this lane, it's that I don't have anything in this lane. I don't know why I wasn't playing left. Maybe I just got distracted, but we're going to go ahead and call this one. Like, technically, you're only losing information if you wait, but come on, guys. This is an awful situation. So we'll call it here. We can definitely fold, even if he's not forcing with a snap. Again, you have to force errors with a snap. That's how you get them to leave, and it's more time efficient for you. Like, I know I take a long time debating my turns, so it's not like I'm being time efficient in the first place. But realistically, if your games take half as long, your net average cube gain is doubles over the. It's not the average cube gain stays the same, but your actual amount of change over time, the cube velocity is going to double. So I don't have it. I have one movement card. I could realistically leave Fisk Tower open. I'm probably just gonna play armor here though, so that I get kind of first blood on this location. And great discards coming out. I think I got Hulk for the first one. I'm feeling confident. I don't need to snap right now, but I am feeling confident. I almost want to snap just in case I discard the card that he's happy about, though. And also, we don't know what's going to happen with X Mansion, but that randomness can be a big factor. I think he's going to play that Electro. No, I guess we'll see. So Dracula's gone and Odin's gone, along with Hulk. But he got Zabu down. He's good about himself. Kingpin and Cyclops, so more movement death, either to Fisk Tower or from Fisk Tower via Magneto. I can definitely kill Zabu, but not until the last turn. As far as playing this here, Odin's gone, Hulk's gone. We're definitely playing it. If I'm able to Ghost Rider, I want to play it next to Blade. So we'll go ahead and play here. Leaving one spot for Magneto if that ends up working out that way on turn 6. I don't think it's realistic because turn 6, the Zabu deck is going to have flooded everything already. The one disadvantage of running Armor and Sunspot in a Jubilee deck is that they are going to be in that card pool, and they're going to be the worst ones. But one thing that I don't mind about it is that it still dilutes that card pool down to... Okay, yeah, we have the potential to pull the Odin, which would then discard the Magneto and then play the Magneto, and which would then kill Zabu and Kingpin. I would snap again if I could, but obviously we're here. So 50-50 on that. I might just draw Hulk, which is fine. But if it draws Odin, we get to see the fireworks, which is great. And it's almost guaranteed he's not flooding this to all 4 spaces. At least one space will be available. Ghost Rider's here for him. It's going to bring back Dracula. So we're not going to be getting the pull. But we do get the Odin into discard. And now we've got Hulk and Magneto, one of those two going here. Very happy about that. Because he can only, at this point, Dracula can only discard Infinaut to win this. So we'll see what he gets. Final turn. Top deck. Nothing special. At this point, we can either pass to try to just get Sunspot mana. Kingpin is from expansion, so we don't have to worry about Arrow very much. He's also playing a 4 mana cost deck. He did White Queen at some point, which is interesting. Because again, I look to leader when I see that. But he has to play cards in order to make sure Dracula activates on the right thing, so he's not going to be playing that. So I'll just play left. Let's see what happens. This is a lot of cubes to lose, and I don't feel like I'm really above 50% here. But we'll, we're playing it. He gets the Magneto that he stole from me through White Queen. He discards Shang-Chi, which doesn't do much for him, but by pulling that 1 damage away, by pulling Jubilee away. Now he played first, so technically if I had played Sif on right, then I would have had enough damage. But it's really, at that point, it's a coin flip of trying to read his mind. I don't mind going to the end of the game there, because I feel confident that Fisk is 1, so it's really a 50-50 of does he play right or does he play left. Realistically, he could have tried to just play like 2 mana Shang-Chi here, and then get Dracula to have the damage buff there. I think it might not have been enough, though. Looking at it, he had 12 damage, adding 12 in, yeah, it only took him 24. That's why he played Magneto. It's because Dracula wasn't going to cut it. So Fisk was lost, and it was just a 50-50 if he played left or right. Whatever. Not a big one. It is 8 cubes, but in terms of like play, misplay, I think it's okay. I just wish I had gotten the better top deck. If I picked up Hela, then I would have been able to get the resummon on Hulk. So, oh well. Played's kind of lame here because he's going to discard one of my 2 discarders, but yeah, I still think I play him just because I can only play one of these 2 on turn 3 anyways. And turn 4 I might have like a Jubilee play. The unfortunate thing is I like Sif a lot better because she always discards a high cost card. Whereas if I draw, next turn I draw Sunspot, next turn I draw Armor, I still want to play Moon Knight. So we'll see what happens. So we drew, exactly, so we drew Sunspot. I can't play them both, and I don't want to be in a position where I draw Hela and then I wish that I had played Moon Knight earlier. It also takes options away from his hand sooner. So Sunspot feels bad, Moon Knight feels good. The problem is I'm now just rolling the dice. So Mystique is gone, Sunspot's gone. I didn't get a result that I really wanted on my end, but discarding Mystique can take a lot away from him. And we do end up drawing Hela. So it's like if we had hesitated here, instead of having a 1 in 3 chance of discarding Sunspot, which isn't as strong, I would have discarded Hela, or had that 1 in 3 chance of discarding Hela, which is just ruins me, so to speak. So yeah, it's kind of quiet at this point, a little lame. Can't play anything on these turns, which feels bad overall, especially since I don't have big cards to play. Trying to go back in time on my discards. I really wish they showed up. But I know one Sunspot, and I think the other was pretty decent. No, it was Sif. So Sunspot and Sif are in my discard pool. Hela's not going to be the play. Is there any alternative, though? Dropping a 14 damage Hulk is a bit unexpected. He might just try to be like protecting right side and worrying about that. But he could just like, don't I lose to like a Squirrel Girl? Like he plays Squirrel Girl here and suddenly it's whatever. If he plays Onslaught here, I guess he's not doing that because he doesn't have enough 1 mana cards. What he's actually going to play is Ultron, now that I think of it. He's going to be playing Ultron on left side because Cosmo's here, or he's going to play it on middle and Flood left and right. So if he plays Ultron here, then he gets a lot of damage on all these. Not happening. Get out of here.
Escaped.
Yeah, if you have low card, like he hasn't, if you play a bunch of 1-drops and Khazar and Marvel, I'll just consider it a basic Zoo deck. But he's played 0 cards other than these 3, so what he's looking to do is Ultron. and they flood the board with a bunch of 1-mana drones. Actually, he probably plays it middle because it summons the most. It summons 3 on the right and 4 on the left. So he plays it middle. I lose middle. Not great. And that's just where the discards went wrong. Like, if those were beefy discards, we're happy. They weren't. Whatever. Move on. It's all a numbers game in the end. And also a memory game if I can actually watch these discards. That's the one thing I don't like about this deck, is I actually have to pay attention. Just something that's not tracked on the screen. So we're 1-3 chance of discarding. The main tool for getting Hela back in play, now that we've lost her, is by playing Ghost Rider, and then dropping an Odin on top of Ghost Rider. Unfortunately, that means I can't really lean into my discard mechanics as much right now. So yeah, we'll have to see. So if it's Ghost Rider here, it's actually bad for me, right? Because now I can't reactivate her. It's Rock, of course. We have to also kind of factor those odds in. This looks like a retreat game, but maybe I could just like pass and then Infinaut and call it good? I don't know. He's going to keep playing these Sentinels at the very least, so I'm imagining that I can't win this lane, even with the current 1-card advantage. Yeah, I don't think pass Infinaut is going to work. And even if I draw Ghost Rider right now, it's not going to feel great either. We'll play around with it, but... So he Moongirled. You can always check if this was the Moongirled one. Generally speaking, you're just going to assume it was, but technically speaking, the way that Moongirl works is she discards she copies the leftmost cards in your hand. So in this case, like if I played Moongirl and this is what's left in my hand, I'm going to get a copy of Hulk, Infinaut, and Rock, rather than like, random. So that means that basically a Moongirl deck might not, even though they have Double Dinosaur in their hand, might not get a copy of that if their hand is full. Anyways, that's just minor details. It creates a copy of your hand, but it's still capped by the 7 cards. So, yeah, kind of slowed down a little bit here, but that's okay. We want the big, like I said, we want the big swings on wins. Like, even if I could theoretically see a 40% deck win rate hitting infinite, just based on the cube mechanic. Big cards, need some discards to really activate on them. Blade is here to save the day, we're happy with that. Technically speaking, this is an unrevealed location. Like I said, I like playing into the fog. A lot of my opponents don't, so really. So in that context, I already have like First Blood or some level of initiative in those locations. And then, so after turn 4 and then after turn 3. So we'll play here, we'll bump them out. It's not really gonna make or break the game, but feels kind of good. And Brood is now flooded over here. So this is another one of the Silver Surfer decks. We'll go ahead and play here and here. It's gonna be, because it's Domino, it's just a 3. There's a few versions like the Patriot version, but this is gonna be the Silver Surfer, a 3-cost version. So he's gonna have a bunch of random 3-cost cards. Maybe Debris, definitely Killmonger. So Sunspot's in danger, but we're just gonna play it out. Rhino in this case. Yeah, he just goes to the card selection screen. What was that? It was 6 mana. I don't know, Magneto or something. So we got all the discards, but we need a Ghost Rider to like make it interesting. But what he does is he just goes to the card collection and just clicks everything that costs 3 mana, and Brood, Silver Surfer, and Seraph. And he's like, yeah, I'm cool. Alright. So this would pull 1 in 3 chance of pulling. I've discarded Odin, so it's not going to pull that. 1 in 3 chance of pulling Armor. 1/3 chance of pulling Ghost Rider, which could then pull one of my bigger cards. Like Odin would activate it a second time if there was space, which there won't be. And then the Ghost Rider could also pull Hela, which would be awesome. But the chain of events for that to happen are very, 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 very small. These guys are going to get buffed up to deal 18 damage, and I just don't have the bandwidth for that. So another one of them retreats, but again, no snap from him.
Escape.
1 cube at a time. 1 cube down, 8 cubes up. Yeah, so there are the decks that use the Invisible Woman to hide Hela. Basically puts, especially good with the double discard from Hellcow, but you put like Invisible Woman, then you put Blade, Sif, whoever under it, and the last card you play is under Invisible Woman is Hela. So they'll all activate in order, but she won't be in your hand. And that's a nice little way to protect her. The other protection that people sometimes do is put Sif, or to put Death in their deck because it costs more mana, and Sif will discard that instead. Instead we're just playing this game all day and probably wishing we had just hit pass turn. Like if we pass turn and we have a 1 in 4 chance, it's definitely better than 1 in 3. Instead we're just chilling and not playing Jubilee for this turn, unfortunately. So he gets the 0 cost. This is where I love to play Wave if I'm playing the other deck, but he hasn't snapped. I'm just going to go ahead and see what I get over here, and we can go ahead and play it right. There's no harm in playing it here and getting the damage out. I guess he's going to amp it though because he's playing Silver Surfer. Whatever. Let's see what happens. Killmonger takes out Blade, which gives us space for whatever we want. It's just going to be Sunspot again. Okay. Some randomness is not working our way. That's kind of what you have to live with if you're playing this deck. Like, there's no... If you want something consistent, you can just play discard. And while I do favor consistency and control over my opponents, at the end of the day, we just want to rank up. And I think that this has the tools that we need. I think a lesson learned, though, is I can be a bit more patient. Play Moon Knight on 4 mana instead of 3. And that makes it more likely that we, or less likely that we discard. If we keep on, if all night we just keep on doing 1 in 3 chance to discard Hela, like, it's gonna bite us pretty frequently. Let's say we do that twice in one game. 2 chances to 1 in 3 discard Hela. It adds up. The odds are not in our favor. I would say at that point, like, we have to be trying to make it so it's a 1 in 4. If it's a Sif and we're getting, realistically you don't have that many 6 drops in your deck, so if it's Sif, I think would be okay with like 1 in 3. But if it's Blade or Moon Knight, let's make sure it's at least 1 in 4. I think that's my takeaway. The cards are like a resource, and by holding on to them, you're reducing chance to get a discard. So we shouldn't be playing anything on turn 2 anyways, unless it's armor. Maybe that's why Sunspot and armor aren't actually that... Okay, so we have a weird situation where we have a good card to discard stuff with, and we have Hela, we have the Activator. We have the Activator and we have the other end of it, but we're playing otherwise with a completely vanilla who knows deck. Let's go for it. Have fun. So Infinaut's out. We're very happy about that because that gives us a 26 mana play at the end, and we can just mess with stuff from here. So we're gonna Killmonger. The real question is, when do we want to? And we're gonna snap and see if he retreats off of that, because again, he's not playing with cards that he picked himself. He picked Bishop, but whatever. I think we'll wait and see if he has any other 1-drops that kind of come out. next turn. So for right now, we'll just play Captain America where there's other cards, and then we'll be playing something in Vormir shortly. So he's going to get a pretty powerful card here from Shuri. We'll have to see what it is. But Infinaut's stronger than whatever he can put out. So that's cool. Oh wait, I just realized Killmonger kills my own stuff. I'm not actually playing this. Yeah, Sunspot's way better. That would have been very sad. Yeah, so we're just going here. M'Baku gets more value from Captain America. So he's sacrificing to Vormir now so he can play there on turn 6. But his next card is the double. So does it double after? No, it doubled base mana. So look at this. He got +1 damage from Shuri. What a card. So that when you're playing with cards you don't know or understand, you'll think like it does the opposite. If you play Wolfsbane on Shuri's lab, it'll wait for the reveal effect, because reveal effects happen before location effects. But when you're using the reveal of Shuri on Wolfsbane, it does the opposite. It applies the base, doubles the base damage. So he's sad. It's kind of funny. We're gonna go ahead and end this one with an Infinaut drop somewhere, and we'll just have to see how it goes. If he has like an arrow randomly, then Hela's dead, and I might lose multiple lanes. But it's just Chavez, which is not a big deal. We get the Infinaut middle, we win 2 lanes. GG, 4 cubes.
Victory.
And the Wolfsbane thing probably wouldn't have mattered, right? If he had 6 extra damage, he would not have won middle. But it's funny to know. Alright. It's been about an hour into this one, so I'll probably do 2 more for the recording. I'll more than likely end up playing some outside of just the VOD, but don't want these to run too long episode-wise. So I got Daily Bugle Blade, so he's running a discard deck as well. But I like playing Okoye as soon as I can, so we'll do armor later. I don't think he's running it. You really can't fit Killmonger into a discard deck because discard decks have so little extra space. The fact that I'm even running a few of the cards I am is probably debatable, but it'll be fine. The cool thing is with this Elysium is that we can empty our hand of bad cards and play all the cool ones. So I've discarded nothing up to this point. I hold out on Blade, right? I don't do that right now as a result. What am I doing? I'm not actually thinking properly. Armor goes here. Quinjet goes there too, because they want to avoid... Again, he doesn't have Killmonger. Why am I worried about it? I think we can just kind of point for point counter here. I think that's fine. So we'll hold Blade for 1 more, see how it goes. And then whatever he discards, I've got Ghost Rider or potentially Hela to play around with. So this was his card from District X. Oh wait, this is... Okay, I thought this was one where it gives you just 1 random card, the hub. It's actually the whole deck is ruined. Okay, great. What is happening in this game? So Elysium and Quinjet. Alright, Quinjet's OP here. Alright, we like that. I'm like looking at this, I'm like, how is this a 4-1? This is supposed to be a 6-0. My brain is breaking. Yeah. I like the idea of emptying something with Arnim Zola. Do I want double Quinjet to make all my stuff super cheap for the next 2 turns? Or do I want Okoye to buff my stuff twice? We'll go Arnim Zola. And the game plan is to actually kill Odin. But again, we're stuck in this weird position where we want to use Blade and Ghost Rider, and it's difficult to do so with what we have. So he just discarded his own Ghost Rider. That's one of the only cards he started with, because this turned out we had 4 cards. No, we had 5 cards by the time District X came out. So he had 5 real cards, Blade, Swordmaster being 2 of them, and also his Ghost Rider being legit cards. Right, this is actually not because I discarded it. It's actually cheaper because I have Quinjet and Elysium. Alright, so the game plan here is we're gonna Blade Ghost Rider here. Yeah, I have to do this, do it this way, but then where does my double Odin go? I think I Odin this turn, and worry about Blade Ghost Rider next turn. I'm cool with that. And we activate Akoi again, which is cool. More so, I'm just getting 8 free damage. I'm 2 lanes, which is fun. And I actually don't see much value in double discarding Swarm, so Ghost Rider and Blade combo might not actually plan out at all this game, but whatever. We got an Arnim Zola Odin, which is pretty beastly. And let's see what our final draw is. Random junk. Okay, see, I can play all 4 of these cards. I don't need Ghost Rider to really give me anything.
Opponent snapped.
So I think we want to... the real question is, can we beat him over on left lane? 13. We have 16 damage. Technically, yes. No, because we can only play 3 cards there, right? So maximum of 13 damage. Technically we can win with 1 point of damage. So the question is, do we want to maximize our right side or play hard into our left? He's got 4 cards in hand. Helicarrier was not discarded, it was just played on the cheap. I think I lose this one, and it's 8 cubes. It's hard to say that, but if the chance is still like 30%, I think it's still okay to play it out, because the other alternative is guaranteed loss. So I think I will lose, but I'm still going to put everything I can into left lane, and then call it there. Let's see what happens. He played middle, which means I might win left. Dark Hawk big, rescue it. Yeah, baby, 1 damage on left lane. There you go. An 8 cube win. Sometimes you just gotta have faith. Especially when their options are limited. He did not pick these cards. He was given them. So, by that virtue alone, he's going to be able to offer less to the board. And he didn't have all the mana reduction stuff that I was dealing with. So, not a significant difference here. I think we were like 79 point something at the beginning of this, 81.6 now. A couple ranks climbed over the span of an hour. It's going to be a slow grind, I can tell, for this season, but I do believe we'll be able to get to Infinite here in the next 4 or 5 days, hopefully. Get a kitty cat. GG's, thanks for watching. Have a good one.